Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool. And when I did my video a little bit ago on these foot-long bit holders, this one was not in the quiver. This is the newer version, I guess, of the DeWalt. So I thought I'd pick one up. You know, it is a little bit lower profile, operates somewhat similar, but we're going to talk about that. One of the things is these kind of quick lock, and bit holders, to me are just invaluable, especially the longer ones. And I'm often using something longer than is just what's necessary to reach the fastener, but also for control. Sometimes just for getting, say if I'm using it on an impact or something, just getting that further away. More light gets in, more hand room, things like that. But it's different than, say, this one from Snap-on, which is designed to fit in the Snap-on screwdriver system, where it's just magnetic. Most of the time the magnet is strong enough, but sometimes, especially with Torx, you can get these things stuck in the fastener and you pull it out and you've got an empty bit holder and a fastener stuck in somewhere. Another thing that I do is I will often use maybe a shorter one. Now I've got all kinds of different sizes, but I might throw a longer bit in it. So I'm just moving that low profile onto the bit size, and just these are, I've got them in Milwaukee and DeWalt, both just excellent, which then gives you both reach and a lower profile. If you don't use these are great if you're doing like deck screws or something like that, where you can slide the cap up over the top and then hold the screw in, and then this, as you're screwing it in, obviously this recedes, but that's a great option. I've been using these things forever. Super simple, plus you can also hang on to it, and there's less chance, especially if you've got the deck screws that some of them aren't finished perfectly and you end up with little bits of metal and stuff, so if you're holding them bare hands you can get slivers. But anyway, back to this. So I ordered one of these. This is the 12-inch DeWalt. You can see the number there, the DWA12LDFT. That's what this thing was. It was about 16 bucks. And I thought, wow, maybe this is the update, the one that I was looking for, because the Milwaukee's pretty close. Now the DeWalt has a very large shaft here compared to the others, especially you can see compared to the DeWalt. It actually is probably going to hold up better in hard impact driving. But let's talk about the front end. There are several things to consider, and I don't think there's a clear winner. Kind of depends. So first of all, this thing, the release collar has to move in a direction, and most of them seem to move down away from the direction you would pull the bit. The Milwaukee moves in the direction you pull the bit, and then that allows it to free up. The Diablo, you have to pull it away, but notice it doesn't pop free like the others. That actually, I guess, is that open? That one's already there. This one you have to hold. And again, that might be an impact, a harder driving impact feature. So you have to hold that down in order to get this out. And then it slides quite easily where there's resistance. And then this DeWalt has a release at the bottom, which allows you to pull that up. So that's one thing. Now another is when you're putting the bit in. So let's take a look at that real quick. Did I pull that one down? I guess I'd already loosened it. And that's when this thing is just sitting neutral, what happens when you put a bit in. And two things. One is I'm just going to test it by pushing with my finger and then watching what happens. So that one locked in just fine. Here's the Diablo. That one took a little bit more force there. You can see on my finger to push that in. The Milwaukee. Is that it? That one just dropped in. Well, I'll show you that again. Almost the magnet. It's just very, very low pressure to lock that down in there. And now the DeWalt here. That one pops in. So that's one thing. Another is getting it out. Obviously, these three, or these two, I guess, right here and here, I can just release it and then the bit can pop right out. You see that? Obviously the Diablo, I have to hold this. However, it's the only one that will dump the bit on with gravity alone. And then the the new DeWalt here, you have to hold that down. It won't come out until you release that. So that I'm not a fan of that. As much as I like the low profile, I'm not thinking this solved a whole lot. I'm still leaning towards the Milwaukee, but I guess given we've got these choices, what would be ideal? You know, and I thought I'd throw in a couple others. Here's the Vera. You know, this one's got that locking mechanism, very lightweight. So good solid design. That's sliding out. Interesting. Here's, I don't remember what this was, a Bosch maybe. That one's got a release on the down. What is this? Here's another Diablo, I guess. What's it doing? Oh, there we go. So that one, this Diablo goes forward. Now if it goes forward and you've got some good dexterity, you can move it forward and then grab the bit out at the same time versus pushing it in the opposite direction. You don't have to have that release pop up and down. But this one, obviously, you have to open it to get the bit in. So it's not going to accept a bit unless you release it. So that can be an issue. And then, of course, little magnet ones. But overall, I'm leaning towards the Milwaukee, but if I could design one, well, low profile, definitely. That's what this DeWalt would occupy. I like the color of the Diablo, and really anything larger or anything smaller than, you know, the size of the bit really doesn't matter. So I think that might be, you know, maybe where these sizes came from. But this one is a little bit thicker, a little heavier. I really think it has to be able to unlock. That's one of the things I kind of like about this. It can remain in an unlocked position, and then you can easily drop a bit in. It allows, a lot of times you might be doing things one-handed, and you just need to be able to operate this or put a different bit in, or you know, something like that. Get it in there to actually work with it one-handed. This is kind of a pain, having to hold that down. You know, if you, maybe in a controlled environment, I can pull it down with a couple of fingers and try to get it out. I'm not even sure I can do that. I guess that's why it comes out with a drop. That's the way you get it out of there. Sometimes that's not convenient if you're waving around something on a ladder. This one, it's got a decent locking mechanism. I like that you can just pop it free, you know, to release that and then remove the bit, if I can get that out of there. Easy in and out. That's, you know, as smooth as this is and as low profile, I kind of like having some texture. But then I also like the Milwaukee going in the direction. So I would have the direction this way. You'd have to have a locking mechanism for both, you know, locked in and being able to pop it free. And there's, since this always remains up until you insert a bit into it, it's always ready for one. I like that. I don't like this, having to do that, but it would be nice, I guess, if I could, you know, shake the bit out, but I can't. And I have had to have pliers, depends on what you've got, had to use pliers to pull bits out of these things. If your hands are cold, if it's wet at all, you know, you may not be able to get it out of here. There might be just too much resistance. So I guess where I'm ending with this is I think there's room for improvement here. There is room for innovation, like a lot of things, but these foot-long guys here are essential, absolutely necessary for a lot of things. Keep life going, you know, simply by being able to reach far into, well, like if you're doing electrical boxes or something, being able to insert it, you know, halfway in, keep your driver further away, get your hand in there or whatever. Plenty of working room. I just find there's a big need for these. but they aren't dialed in yet. So maybe Snap-on will pop out with one. Wouldn't that be nice? You know, then we could spend a little bit more than 16 bucks. I think that's the most expensive one I've got now, and I'm still not thrilled with it. But anyway, if you've got another one, let me know. I mean, I might continue this. I know there's a few more. I don't know if Weeha's got one. Bosch maybe has got a longer one. You know, what other companies are producing something like this? Because to me, this is essential. This is always in my tool bag when I'm putting together a set of tools to go do something. Always have one of these. Anyway, let me know. And with that, Doc out.